Hey golfers, I'm Drew Mahowald, Second Swing Golf here at the tour event at Second Swing Minnetonka, joined by Emma Carpenter here to, well, we're going to illustrate a few things with this video, I think. It's going to be a fun one because we're going to do some shot shaping, but with two different types of irons. So this is going to be a fascinating one because you hear all the time about, some types of irons you can have workability, right? You hear that term when talking about new iron models. Today we're going to test that out a little bit. So we've got Titleist T100 and Titleist T350, very different irons. Emma's here to do some shot shaping for us on TrackMan. So Emma, this is fascinating. Are you a draw player, a fade player, or both on the golf course?
You know what? I think it's really important to be able to hit both given whatever situation.
Yeah.
But my stock shot is more of a draw. So definitely if I do need to hit a big draw, I'm more comfortable with it. But I really like to practice both for any situation.
Yeah, that's it's definitely a player of your caliber. Being able to hit both is probably almost a requirement at that point. But it is, though, you see, especially on tour, LPGA Tour, PGA Tour, there is definitely a stock swing that golfers have. They tend to draw it or tend to fade it, and that's the one they trust the most. But the reason they can hit those shots is because a lot of them are playing clubs that are kind of designed to do so, and maybe not, like I have the T350 in my hand, very large club head. These things are typically designed to go kind of straighter and launch the ball high and not really move as much, whereas a T100 is going to be a little bit more forward center of gravity and be able to curve that ball a little bit. So today we're going to have Emma hit some draws and some fades with the T100 and then do the same, or try to do the same with the T300. And I guess my guess is it's going to be a pretty different, it's going to be a lot more draw and a lot more fade with the T100. So that's kind of the plan for today. I'm kind of curious what happens. We haven't done a video like this before, Emma, so this will be fascinating.
Awesome. Yeah, no, let's do it. It's good to practice working the ball, working it right, working it left, working it very, very right, very, very left.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see like the ease and the options of being able to do it with a club like this as opposed to the...
Right, yeah. So let's, right now we've got you set up to hit the T100 and hit draws.
Yeah.
So let's start with that, and then we'll also talk through, we got some numbers up here too with TrackMan. We can kind of talk through how that happens with, we've got spin rate, but also club path, face angle, and those numbers.
Totally. I'll hit one, and then I'll talk about kind of what I do.
All right, okay. Starting out way right and drawing it back.
Yeah. It's always best too, like, obviously the ball can work right to left, just depending on how shut the face is to the path.
Yep.
But ideally, whenever you're hitting a draw or a fade, you want it to start out right and then start out right and draw to the target, or start out left and then draw to the target.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm working on a shot like this, especially on a simulator, I really like to see the ball start right and then curve back to my target, so that I know how to set up for it.
What you did there. I know you didn't hit that one as perfect as you were hoping for.
Yeah. I mean, it worked the right way, but I didn't catch it perfect.
So that one was hit a lot better. So this one, all right, there's some good curvature on that one too.
Yeah, I think I can get it to go even more for sure.
Yeah, so what we're seeing here too, again, I'm gonna, for golfers maybe looking to learn how to hit the draw. So what's happening is her club path is 9.4, her face angle is 4.7. So that means that her club path is open to the target, 9.4 degrees, and the face angle is open 4.7 degrees to the target. And so her face, the club face is less open than the path, which creates that spin to turn it back. So it's when they say swing out to first base or whatever, that's what they mean is your club path needs to be going out to first base, but your club face needs to be less open than that. And that's how that spin right to left is created.
Yeah, the face needs to be closed relative to the path.
Yeah.
So, and something that I really want to stress is what a lot of people don't understand when they're trying to hit a draw or a fade is that they think they need to change their golf swing so much.
Yeah.
Like for me just now, I obviously, when I'm hitting a stock shot, I don't swing it 9 degrees to the right in terms of my club path. I change my setup a lot. And when it comes to hitting a draw or a fade, it's like, 75% to do with your setup.
Yeah.
So if I'm hitting a draw, I'm gonna close up my stance. I'm gonna aim the face shut to where I'm aiming.
Yeah.
And you know how hard it would be to hit a fade from that position? It would be near impossible, right? So that's kind of the That's a big point of where it starts. I'm definitely gonna try not to cut across it.
Yeah.
Because who knows what's gonna happen? But I just swing along the line of my feet with that shut face, and the ball will draw. I could have swung even a little bit more right, but yeah.
So there's some curvature. But see, that's really useful though if you're going to be, if the pin is say on the left side of the green, or maybe you've driven it, I don't know, on the left side of the fairway, and there might be a tree that's kind of blocking half of the green, and you kind of want to go around it.
Right.
That shot is very useful to have.
Totally.
See, on even this one, the club path was 12, face angle 1.8. So basically how far away this face to path is from 0 is a good indication of how much curvature that ball's going to have.
That one had 77 feet of curvature.
Yeah.
So
a lot of movement on that one. Obviously, that's exactly what you're trying to do here with the T100.
Yeah. And they say that generally the face angle is where the ball is going to start. So
yes.
The face angle, given that it was only 2 degrees open, that's why it started just barely right. But because the club path was so far into out, then that means that the ball curved so much. So if my face was more open, than that, it would start further right. But then having that big club path from in to out is what's going to make it curve. So I'll hit one more, and then we can switch to fades.
And then what I'm really curious about too is, because we also want to find out how much curve, or maybe it doesn't curve with the game improvement iron too. That's going to be very interesting.
Right. So exactly kind of what I was trying to demonstrate. That one started further right because the face was 5, but the path was still almost 11. Yep. So that one curved 40 feet.
So, and what's going to be the big difference here too, when we get to the game improvement iron, the T350, is going to be that the spin is going to be much lower, and a lot of the movement that you're getting on this is because it is spinning, and so you're getting a lot more. Ooh, those are right on top of each other. That's kind of cool. I almost thought it was just 3 shots, but we got 4 up there, and all had some movement on them. As we can see here, we had curvature to the left on all of them comfortably, right? 47, 35, 77, and 41. So pretty good stuff. That's a good display of how to hit a draw. We've got the T100 down now on the draw. You want to hit the fade with that club now?
Yeah, now let's hit a fade.
So it's, I imagine, a similar process. You're just kind of inversing things a little bit.
Right. Another thing, it's definitely a lot easier to hit a draw when it's lower. Like fades, statistically, will go higher, spin more, and a draw, it's really easy to hit a draw if you play it way back in your stance and you want to like punch it. It's really easy to get that spin, the ball spin working from right to left. But now let's do the opposite. So I'm virtually just doing the exact opposite. Instead of my feet going the other way, my feet are going to go this way with an open club face. Definitely swung over the top.
You definitely started it left.
Oh boy, see, well, it cut. The ball went left. It did cut. It only cut about 7 feet, but.
Yeah. So the problem there was the face angle was too close for the cut.
There, that's better.
Yeah, that one looked better, sounded better. Yeah, there's the nice high fade right there. So again, there's the numbers. The club path was -7, meaning it was left of the target 7 degrees, but the face angle was only 3 degrees left of the target. So that creates that 3.8 face to path, which a positive number there is, I guess, for a right-handed golfer to the right, and you get that little. That's a really good ball flight, actually. It's also noted, you mentioned the spin. Spin's way up.
Yeah.
So, and because of that, it's going to float a lot more. It's not going to go as far.
Yeah.
So.
Let me see if I can get it going even more. Because of my golf swing, because I do have a tendency, if I was just aimed perfectly square, my path would probably be a couple degrees.
Yeah, because you have your stock shot's a draw.
Right,
so
exactly.
The big
this
fade
is a harder
tougher
shot
for you.
to hit, right? Because I mean, if it's naturally going to drop a couple degrees and I'm right, then I can really easily swing it. But if I'm aiming way left and I still drop it, it's going to be across, but not quite as much. So let's see if I can get it to slice. That's definitely going to cut. I don't know how much.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's coming right back to the center line there. Yeah. And that's the thing, too, about this. That's actually almost, I got to see the dispersion map, because that is almost the same number we just looked at, I think. Yep.
That's so funny. They're going the same distance.
Maybe you should go to the fade. Just you'd probably lose like 15 yards or 10 yards of your 7-iron
Well,
distance,
I mean,
but
that's a huge fade. Obviously, if I
Yeah.
move to a fade, I would try to
yeah.
straighten it out a little bit. I wouldn't
Let's
want to
look
be
at
swinging
hold
9
on.
to the left.
Look at how different these numbers are here.
Yeah.
So one was 108, 7,000, 144 to 149.
Yeah. And how about the
108,
club speed?
7,000, 144 to 149. Yeah.
Am I swinging any faster with the draw?
No,
No.
you're actually swinging. You're swinging slower with the draw. Actually, well, this one you got up to 87, but
That's so
you're swinging
funny.
the same speed. So
Yeah.
let's go one more here.
Can I do one more of each?
Yeah, do one more of each.
I'm going to do one more draw, one more fade. That's going to draw so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how about that?
Yep. Rope draw.
70 feet right to left, but I still got it to land about center.
Yep. And again, so much further than the fade in terms of carry distance.
That's so funny. And I didn't even really feel like I caught that very good.
All right. So now can you just go right back to a fade and hit one like that?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. So you've got the shots on command, that's for sure. So before we get into the T350, it's just a quick little draw versus fade comparison here.
Yeah.
You notice that you actually swung faster with the fade swing.
That's
fade
so
swings,
funny.
But you lost 14 yards of carry distance because of just the spin rate and the fact that with a draw you're compressing the ball a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus with a fade, you kind of have the face open and you're cutting across it
Yes.
to create that movement. So the result is you actually hit the ball further with the draw, kind of a lot. But as you can see here, I mean, she's doing exactly what you need to do for a draw and a fade, right? The face to path, open 4 degrees with the fade, and then closed 7.4 with draw. That's exactly how a draw and a fade happens. So. Also, the height is exactly the same. This is great. This is a great head-to-head for a draw and a fade. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the height is the same. Definitely, I wasn't necessarily trying to hit punch draws. Like I was didn't have the ball back in my stance, so a couple of those did get up pretty high.
Yeah.
I like to hit high draws on the golf course, but yeah, no, that's so interesting. That's really fun.
So now what's going to be very interesting too is the T350 I'm going to put on that golf club, and the T350. I mean, it's a lot larger. It's not necessarily designed to hit shots the same way this was. So we'll see what kind of curvature we can get with you hitting the same swings here.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I got averaging, and there was that one that only went 7 with the fade, but averaging, closer to 30 feet versus 55 feet.
Yeah, and you said too,
curvature.
I mean, draw is your stock. You're going to move the ball more right to left than vice versa.
Yeah,
So.
well, especially with an iron. It's definitely easier with a driver to get the ball to curve more. But
probably should have done this with a driver, but
could have.
You're gonna see more movement anyway.
Yeah, but interestingly, do you think, Drew, it's easier to curve the ball more with a draw or with a fade?
I think you can get more. This is gonna sound weird, but I think you can get more violent curvature with a draw.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think it's. I think you can hit a big high power fade a lot easier than a big high power draw.
Yeah.
Oh, it is drawing. It's pretty good.
Got it to draw. I actually think it's probably going to be harder to get this to fade. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you're really open to the really push that club path out. That's going to be like 14.
Well, it's just all about how far you want to aim to the right. I didn't get it to curve back as much.
Which again, that was my hypothesis. Is I think because you're spinning it much lower.
Yeah.
So I think that is going to be one reason it doesn't quite.
Well, and something about the smaller head, I feel like I can really go down and get it more.
Mm-hmm.
So this feels like it has to be like swept a
I
little
see.
bit, which I feel like is going to be harder to like shut the face, like it's easier to just kind of like sweep it as opposed to the smaller head. You feel like you can.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's gonna curve. Oh, what?
See, look at. I mean,
I thought that was gonna curve a lot.
see, the face was a little bit open there,
Yeah.
but I mean, you are kind of struggling moving that thing back to center.
More than the other one. When it's funny because like when it was closer to 0, it's like I described, like I chunked it because I couldn't like go down and get it with a smaller head as much. At least just in the way it feels. Oh, that was one of my better swings. Let's see how much that curves. What?
Okay, so I think this is good.
I swear I'm not trying to do that.
No, so what we have is a golf club that is designed for forgiveness, designed to hit the ball straight. And
yeah. It's like if I want to hit it solid, it has to kind of like match up.
Right. So we've got our numbers up here, and we can see with the T100 club, that kind of smaller player's iron, the average curvature was 54 feet. And then with the T350, it was 36.
Dang.
Also, you were hitting that one way further,
further,
which is, again, part of the build of the club. Spin was much lower. If we bring up the map.
And look at the height, too. Like, it's not even like the other. They're the exact same height. They were both averaging at 88 feet. So it's not even like the other one was like a low punch draw.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and also you didn't get one to go actually left of center, whereas the T100, they were, well, 3 of the 4 that you hit here were.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, this is the white, sorry. 2 of the 5 were left of the center. That was the fade I was looking at. So you had a little more success moving it back all the way to the center with the T100 on the draw.
Dang, I'm not kidding, especially that last one. Well, if you're set up for a draw and you hit it solid, that ball is gonna draw.
Yeah.
Like if I'm set up for a draw and it cuts, it's because I like thinned it and something like that. So that last one I really thought was gonna draw back, but it did not.
Yeah, well, that's.
Alrighty.
Should we try the fade now?
Yeah, wait, I don't need to switch clubs. Yes, fade. I don't think I'm gonna swing it much better than that in terms of trying to hit a big fade.
Ooh, wow, that's pretty good.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
I meant it, yeah.
That is really good. 44 feet of curvature. Yeah, that's a fade right there.
Yeah. So
Here, also, too, you're going to hit this one a lot further than the other club did with the fade. It's only one shot so far, but you hit that one 157. The other one was
140.
140s. So.
Well, something that I also try to do, golfers, if you're trying to hit a draw and a fade, if you have a really draw bias swing, I definitely have a draw bias swing. Something that's really important is if you're set up for a fade, you get up here, you drop this club inside, it's not going to be a good swing. So what I'm trying to do is the second I get to my golf swing, just kind of come straight down, or if anything, a little bit over the top, which when I'm set up like this is a lot easier to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm trying to feel to get that club path as far left as it is. Oh, I didn't get that one to go as much.
Again, it's I not quite coming all the way back. Now I think it's worth, this is it's cool because in the tour van during fittings, you will have access to all this information about your swing. So even if you are a draw player, if you are a fade player, again, we're not swing teachers. We're not going to correct your swing necessarily, but there are clubs, like say you struggle with a slice, the T350 can help maybe fight that slice a little bit in an iron head just because it's built to be a straight ball flight.
Right. Well, and anytime I've been getting fit for clubs, if I'm hitting a draw over and over again, even if it's going really well, Larry will say, okay, now let's hit a fade. Because you want to make sure that you can work the ball both ways with a club. Obviously, a swing is a big part of that, but still, your golf swing is a big part of that.
You want to be able to be confident in the club you're using that you can do both of those things.
Because the way that clubs are set, like you said, there's draw bias drivers. There's drivers that are literally set up shut, or depending on the loft, a lot of it's going to play a big role in what kind of ball flight you're going to hit.
For sure. So. Let's get one or two more of these T350 fades, if you can.
Oh, that was hit solid. I don't think it's going to fade that much. What? More than I thought?
No, this one's fading for you. Is that going to get past the center? Close. That's good, though. It's a good swing.
Yeah. Wow, okay. That's surprising that my hypothesis is wrong. I thought this was going to be harder.
Okay. Now, so far, hitting the fade has been pretty much as getting it to move left to right has been about the same.
That
That one's going to slice.
That's gonna finish right.
Yeah.
Oh. Why do you think that is? Why is it easier for me to fade this?
I don't know. With the curvature you got on this, let's see, we got 40 feet right, and it was 26 with the T100. So you were actually curving the T350 more. Interesting there.
That is really interesting.
Now, let's look at numbers here. So there is a difference in that your club path with the T350 was farther left than it was the T100. So that's probably the big reason that it actually curved a little bit more, because your face angle was pretty close at 4.8 and 4.3.
Might have been that swing adjustment I was talking about.
Yeah, it could have been. It definitely could have been. So it's definitely some science behind this.
Yeah.
We kind of had a hypothesis. I don't know if it was really proven or not that the T350 would not curve as much.
I will say, I was struggling, and it could all just be a feel and a look. As much as it is about science, it's also about the golfer that plays into the science. So like I said, it just felt like having that really small head, like it just felt like with a draw that I could just zoom, they just shut the face. Versus as opposed to this big face, it was a lot easier to like just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It was a lot easier to just hold it off.
Yes.
Hold off this face. When it was small, I could just.
Yep, and it's, I mean, that's kind of, it is a looks thing, because you see this kind of larger, I'm not going to say clunky, but it's, there's more mass there. There's more there, and it's tougher to, like you said, flip it over if you're trying to draw it.
Yeah.
It's designed the way it's built to be square.
Yeah.
To be square when it's hit.
Yeah.
And so that, I think, was part of maybe the issues that you were having, at least trying to curve that ball, which we know you're not going to be playing, you know, a game improvement iron that big on the course and be trying to sling draws all the time. It'll be a rare occurrence where somebody is actually trying to do that with that type of club. But
totally.
It was cool to see. It was fascinating to see you kind of right away with the T100. You were able to sling that draw around, and then with the T350, it was a little tougher.
It was tougher, yeah.
So, but it kind of goes to show, T350 is not built to do that.
Yeah.
T350 is built to give you a straight high ball flight, be forgiving on miss hits.
Well, and that's
T100 is supposed to do, give you the ability to hit the high fade, the high draw, the low fade, all the different windows, because a better player, like you, will demand, and you can hit all those shots.
Well, I said the draw is my stock shot, so using a game improvement iron set up for a draw, just a nice high little draw rather than a big slinger is, I guess, would make sense with the club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, this was fun. This was good.
Yeah.
So, golfers, if you have any questions or comments for Emma and her ability to work the ball, and if you have questions about how you can do it, leave them on the video here. But otherwise, this was fun. I mean, it's cool to see how the equipment plays into it, but also how the swing plays into it. We saw both today. So, Emma, thanks for joining and hitting all the shots today.
Yeah, thanks so much. That was a blast. Super cool.